You gambling man, Alex?
No, not really. I'll do a little blackjack here and there.
Nothing wrong with a little bit of blackjack. Think you good at playing the cards?
When it's electronic blackjack, I'm very good at playing the cards. If it is table, I'm not good at it. I don't know why the difference between the electronic and the like actual table game, but
Well, it's the phrase, right? The house always wins, right?
fair. Not on dollar blackjack though. That's what the
Fair enough. Fair
electronic
enough.
one.
That's hilarious. All right, so what's going on, everybody? Just as a heads up, it's my first time streaming. I had a little bit of an audio issue in the beginning, but I do apologize. This is the after show, as y'all know. I'm Ken. We got Zephyr's here as well, and then
Ew.
special guest, Mr. Alex Novell. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay, Been
Uh,
better.
I'm with you, man. That's a gnarly ass scar you got, bro. So
Yeah.
so I guess for people that are watching that really kind of don't understand kind of where we're at today, don't need nothing like super crazy or anything like wild, but just kind of give us a little bit of a summary about where we're at.
Um so I was following Jason for like a month and a half shooting a movie on him. We were buddies. Mr. Based, Jason Itzler.
Yep.
Um So yeah, I was following him around. I was hanging out with him and Josh Block. I'd be there till midnight at his house some nights, and he'd get a lot of TTS donations talking about this girl Julia Sumnicht, who everyone was saying he murdered. So part of the documentary, I looked into it, and he started to get upset that I was looking into it so much.
Okay.
And eventually, he kind of turned on me and was like, "You're making a hit piece on me because you're talking too much about this murder."
Got
I
it.
also found out stuff that made it very clearly to me and to investigators look like he was the one who not only murdered her but also raped her before she was murdered.
Jesus.
So when I found out all that stuff, I decided, a la Michael Moore or Geraldo Rivera, one of those guys, that I was gonna confront him about it. That I was gonna, go, on his block, public property, and just kind of confront him and be like, tell the truth about what you know. And ultimately, he walks right out of his house. He sees me, and he walks right up to me, and he grabs my camera and tries to destroy it.
Got you.
And then he grabs the back of my shirt. I grabbed his wrist, and he kind of held on for dear life and used all of his momentum to hit me as hard as he could in the face with a phone tripod he was carrying.
Got you.
Um, and
And
then
man, that sound. I mean, when
Oh,
you
dude.
listen to that sound, that was, whoo! You could tell it hurt. You could tell it hurt.
Did you so if I heard right, you watched our video that we covered on it, is that correct?
yeah, of
Got
course.
you. Yeah. So I just want to say, when I first heard that sound, I don't know if you heard my reaction, but I was like, "Damn, that shit, dude." I felt bad for you in that instance. Um, so I guess before all that started, there's people alleging all that other stuff that this was somewhat of a setup. Um, Not saying it is or it isn't. I don't know anything on that. I'm just going off of the narrative other people are saying. Um,
That it's a
so
setup.
so basically, that for some odd reason, Mr. Bass was coerced out of his home for you being there. Like,
I didn't coerce Mr. Based out of his house. I was posted up on the block with Kozu,
okay,
and I did message with Twiggy, who was like, who I told him that I was there, and Twiggy was like, I'll get him outside. But I wasn't asking Twiggy to coerce him
I
outside.
got you.
I
Okay,
wasn't there was no like coercion there. I think what happened was in like the sake of full transparency that Twiggy sent to Jason that there was someone from Barstool Sports outside.
got
That
it.
there was someone from Barstool Sports looking for him. That was
Okay,
what Twiggy eventually sent to me. Um, if I look back at my Discord messages,
yeah,
but yeah, I was posted up there for like 2.5 hours. It wasn't like I was sitting there trying to coerce him outside of his house. It was like I was posted up there. Someone who's like one of his inside guys was talking to him and talking to me. People who are like into this whole drama really want to see something happen.
of course.
Um, I didn't want to see that happen.
Well,
You know, like
obviously, look at your face, bro. I wouldn't either.
yeah. No, I didn't want to see that happen, and I didn't want to like again like these type of confrontations in documentary films are really really common, and Jason's a public figure. He streams all the time. He gets stream sniped all the time.
Yeah.
It's not an uncommon thing for me to want to go there, especially since I've been a guest in his home so many times, to just post up on his block and be like,
Yo, yeah.
"What happened? Tell the truth."
So,
Ask questions, not like paparazzi, but like be prepared with questions and have things to ask him, because in the moment you had something that was a pressing matter. Well, the confrontation wasn't supposed to devolve into an argument. It was meant to just be more like, let's get an understanding of what I have, these documents, I have this information. Let's figure out what happened here.
Yeah.
exactly. So, just kind of wanted to go back a little bit. Just, I'm not asking you to divulge whatever you don't want to, just for my own curiosity. The personal relationship you said you had with Mr. Based, when did all that come to an impasse? Like, I'm not asking what your personal relationship was, just at what point did you say this dude ain't cool anymore?
Um, I think I can tell you like exactly when it was.
Okay.
So, because it was actually live on my stream.
Interesting.
It was on
Okay.
August 10th. So what's today? The 21st. It's like
21st.
11 days ago.
Yep.
I was streaming. Someone had asked me a question on my stream about the process of documentary filmmaking, and like they said like, "Are you friends with Jason? Like, what was it like to like be in his life that way and be like, because if you watched his stream, he was like really being buddy buddy with me. There's clips of us dancing together. There's clips of us laughing and smoking weed and having a good time.
Gotcha.
So, like, what changed? Well, what changed was my very first live stream I ever did. I talked to Zoltan, the guy who's implicated in the murder, with him.
Okay.
And every subsequent stream after that, I talked to a different person on the phone until 6 days into me streaming on August 10th, he finally hears me answer a question to someone where I said, like, filmmaking is a lot about tribalism. You have to immerse yourself in someone's tribe. You have to know what it means to be them and to be of their tribe. And what Jason took that as is me saying, I've infiltrated his friend group and I've tricked him into being friends with me so that I could make a hit piece on him, which ultimately is not the truth. It's just his like nervous, exaggerated version of it.
I got you. Yeah. So you think that because of allegations that are there, Mr. Bass is a little bit nervous whenever you come around. Is that kind of what we're
Well,
talking?
it's
Yep.
when I talked to his victim's mother on the phone, he encouraged me so much to do that. He was like, if you talk to her, I'm going to be vindicated. Everyone's going to know I didn't do this. And I get her on the phone finally, and she's like, without a doubt, Jason Itzler did this. The other guy had nothing to do with it. It was all Jason. Jason is the one who did this. He's a narcissist. He's an insane person, and he killed my daughter. And
Beautiful.
Jason calls me back and he's like, she's just broke. She's a broke bitch. And you know what? You should make a deep fake AI version of her saying that I'm innocent, that I didn't kill her and that the other guy did.
Wow. That's
So it literally went from, hey, she's gonna vindicate me and tell you that I'm innocent, to, nah, don't believe a thing she said.
Don't believe a thing she said and make a fake version of her saying that I'm innocent.
of course, that's not a good look. Um, cool. Well, have you seen, I guess, Mr. Based on TikTok and all that, what he's been saying lately? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw him. I did a breakdown on my stream, like frame by frame, and then I posted it as like a clip on my YouTube channel just because like I felt the need to do like a literal frame by frame, like it's sports breakdown of exactly what happened. And Pow Envy and I sat there, who, Pow's more of a neutral party in this. He only heard the worst about me through Based. And then he met me and stuff. So uh we're going through it, and like you can see, he reaches out, he grabs my camera.
Yep.
Then he gets up in my face and he puts his face right in my neck here. He
Mm-hmm.
stood on his tippy toes because I'm about 6 foot tall and he's 5'4".
Yeah.
And he puts his face right in the nape of my neck, and he's like, menacing me, intimidating me. And I try to push him back, and he comes even closer. And then that was when he tried to grab my camera again, and then I like grabbed his wrist, he grabbed the back of my shirt, and the whole scuffle started to ensue.
Beautiful. So what I was referring to is mainly the TikTok where he said he's turning himself into the police. He kind
Yeah,
of,
but he said I like choked him. He said that I had my hand on his trachea and stuff like that.
Yeah,
yeah,
that he couldn't breathe or something like that. His version of events doesn't necessarily line up.
no, not at all. And do you have any knowledge of him actually turning himself into the police?
Um, I do I have knowledge of him turning himself into the police? I
Yeah,
spoke to the detective this morning via email, and she asked me for my hospital records for the case report. You know, they
gotcha.
need my like the number. Um, uh, and that was about it. I asked them if he's been arrested. One of my like friends in my Discord server asked him if he's been arrested, or if he's turned himself in. They said he's not turned himself in. So
Beautiful.
I think that that's not true. I think that he's gone on social media again to say that like use him like surrendering as an opportunity one to attack Keemstar because he
Yeah.
brings up the Etika stuff, which is like long debunked for one,
Hmm.
and then he's spreading a bunch of lies about what happened with me too. This guy's just like very publicly trying to gaslight, thousands of people who are interested in this story.
Beautiful. So
So that actually brings me up to a good question. So, do you think now one of the things that I've been paying attention to most to is probably the Twitter aspect of this and like how almost every time there's a major part of this, it's breaking on Twitter. Do you think that if Keemstar or Drama Alert wasn't posting every minuscule or major thing in this case, do you think it would have changed things? I mean, he was supposedly on the run, and then they had him cornered, and they had Drama Alert investigators and 5 detectives and all this and that. Do you think Keemstar is in the end helping this case and getting it to where it needs to be seen, or do you think in the end it's actually harming it?
So I said this yesterday to Keem because he came on my stream for a minute. But like having someone, having what happened to me happen, which is so like traumatic and horrible, and having like a lot of people, dunk on me and make fun of me for it and stuff because of how I like was screaming and everything like that. To have someone like Keemstar come in and not only like, you know, have me on stream to talk about this, but to like really be riding so hard for this case and pushing for justice for me and
Right.
justice for Julia and stuff is like so surreal, so unexpected that Keemstar like is like fucking Batman here financing like
oh
doing
yeah.
better work than the NYPD. The NYPD had no idea where Based was, and fucking Keemstar's men are on it. It was nuts.
Oh yeah. And I think at his heart, Keemstar is the type of dude that definitely wants the right thing to happen. Obviously, when it comes to like Boogie and Wings, sorry. When it comes to Boogie and Wings, of course, he's going to troll them, shit for content, blah, blah, blah. But for something like this, in your situation, in the situation of the young lady that was, murdered, SA'd, we want the right thing to happen. And I think, at his heart, Keemstar is a good dude when it comes to this type of thing.
Yeah, and he also called me up like the second all this happened and he got wind of it, he called me on FaceTime and he wanted to make sure I was okay. He's offering me a ride home from the hospital.
Oh, good.
Like he wasn't just like it wasn't just for content because a lot of people are like Keemstar's using you for content. That's not true at all. Keemstar has been on this platform for a really long time, and he knows just like I do that this story is incredibly interesting, but two, that this guy is dangerous and that he's trying to silence and attack a smaller creator. Mr. Based has a huge platform right now of a lot of people listening to him, to his every command and word. So to have someone like Keemstar stand up against that, I'm like, the little guy in this situation.
Oh, yeah.
And so I feel like somewhat safer just knowing that like Keemstar's guys are on it.
Oh yeah, and I mean, in any type of situation, especially like this, when it comes to legalities, it's good to have somebody like Keemstar in your corner, and that's a really
Yeah.
good thing. So, as far as World of T-shirts goes, as far as him and Mr. Base, how did all that even start? as far as just the inception of their relationship?
So, Mr. Based was streaming in his house, and World of T-Shirts was walking up St. Mark's Place, the very popular street in New York where Mr. Based
Yep.
lives. And someone in his chat said, World of T-Shirts, one of the biggest TikTokers, is outside your house. So Mr. Based ran outside of his house, and he ran up to World of T-Shirts, and World of T-Shirts screamed and was like, ah! And Mr. Based screamed right back at him.
Beautiful.
And then for a while, Mr. Based was World of T-Shirts' biggest villain. He would stream snipe him. He would show up wherever World of T-Shirts was, and Josh, World of T-Shirts, really didn't like it.
Okay.
But eventually, Michael Quinn, the guy who was kind of managing Josh at that point, formally introduced Mr. Based to Josh and eventually foisted Josh onto Mr. Based. Michael Quinn has kind of stepped back from the like handling Josh aspect of things
Mm-hmm.
because he was getting a lot of hate. People were doxing him, people were calling his family and friends. And if you look back, it's crazy because I'm not saying Michael Quinn's a great guy either, but compared to Mr. Based, Michael Quinn is a saint. Compared to Mr. Based, Michael Quinn was really keeping Josh safe. Now, in terms of keeping Josh really safe, the best is obviously his grandparents and or Mayor Flanagan. I don't know if you guys know about Mayor Flanagan.
Nah, give me. Well, I personally don't. But if you want to give just a brief
Yeah.
summary of that, yeah.
So Mayor Flanagan is the former mayor of Fall River, Massachusetts. He met Josh on the street one day. They became close friends, but Mayor Flanagan is the only person that like has not tried to like clout farm off of Josh or has really been like respectful to World of T-Shirts.
Okay. Cool. So as far as Mr. Bass and World of T-Shirts relationship, I know people the term groomer's been thrown out there. The term pimp has been thrown out there. I don't want to insinuate that the number one definition or the number one meaning of those words is what people are thinking. Do you understand what the idea is with those phrases used?
Well, he's pimping Josh, that's for sure. The
Okay.
act of pimping is that you're making money off of the head of somebody who is not seeing that money, correct?
Correct.
That
Yep.
So that's what he's doing to Josh is he's making around $60,000 in 3 weeks off of Josh.
Jesus.
And then Josh sees per day maybe $150 to $200 of that.
Beautiful.
Now, do you have any type of confirmation that he only sees that much? Because I think
So
that's one of
when
the
I
things that
I
people.
oh sorry.
No, I just think that's one of the things that a lot of people kind of get stuck on is that there's not necessarily that you've said that before, and like this is all that's been said, but we don't have. If Josh has said that he doesn't, he gets more than that, and all this and that. But like, is there some type of concrete evidence that can help solidify this case and make it look better for
So
you or better for Josh?
so I mean ultimately that'll all be in the doc, but like I've been going through all the footage on my stream, so like my audience has seen all the clips I'm talking about where like this Jason ends his stream, Mr. Bass ends his stream, and then he goes over to Josh and he whispers to him, but they're mic'd up because they don't understand that I can still hear you if you're mic'd up.
Yep.
And he's like, Josh, I'm only gonna give you 100 today because you were here for an hour, okay? And Josh is like, okay, because Josh is like,
He
whatever.
doesn't know any better.
Or
Yeah,
Josh is like, give me 150, and then Jason's like, okay, 150. Jason talked a lot to me during the filming about this thing that he calls perceived value. He says that Josh has this perceived value of things, like when Mr. Bass buys Josh food, when Mr. Bass pays for his hotel. There's this perceived value that Jason said he tries to make much greater than the actual value. So, for example, World of T-Shirts hotel that he was staying in, I have confirmation just from recording him book the hotel room that it was $180 a night. Now, Josh was under the assumption that the hotel was over $300 a night. So there's this perceived value that when World of T-Shirts is handed $100 for the day, in his mind, he's actually getting $400 for the day because he has that hotel room that's $300.
Interesting. Now, I guess
Okay.
I guess I kind of get where Josh would think that, but we also know Josh isn't of the right state of mind due to substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and all that those other things. So as far as I guess from this point moving forward, I know you got your documentary coming out, and as far as the attack that happened, is that going to be in the documentary?
Yeah, that's the end of the movie. Ultimately, is that's how it all ends. Is I got fucking attacked in the head. He got arrested. He fled and hid from the police for over 48 hours at this point,
Yeah.
and has refused to turn himself in while publicly bashing me on social media and sending a huge mob of haters after me. Um, and yeah, also, like a lot of people were talking about how my number got doxxed on Lolcow Live,
Mm-hmm.
and I said this to Keem. I said that to Keem yesterday. That number one, it's not Keem's fault because I told him to pull. Well, I had sent him my phone number earlier in the day because he asked for it, and we were on live, and I was like, "Pull up my DMs, pull up my DMs," and then he pulled it up. So it's really not his fault, and it's not my fault either. It's just like a mistake. But I didn't get a lot of calls from like people hating on me. I got a lot of calls from cool people in the Lolcow Live audience that were like, dude, is this really your number? Holy shit. How's your head doing?
Yeah. That's
yeah,
hilarious.
the Lolcow Live community's got some good people in it. There's some bad eggs in there, but 9 times out of 10 you can probably have a good conversation with some of them, and some of them are pretty good intentioned. I do have a quick question. So something that you say you're doing a documentary on Mr. Based. What made you look at him and go, yes, he's the one I want to do a documentary on? What kind of narrowed that in for you?
So I did a 30-minute documentary back in April on Josh on World of T-Shirts. And
Okay.
I had been like keeping track of him obviously after that because he's an interesting guy. And once he started hanging out with Mr. Based, I was like, who is this guy? And so I looked into him and I was like, wow, this is really interesting. He was like the king of all pimps. Um, so at that point, my next thing was not only to contact him and get him to agree to me making the documentary, which was pretty easy. I just sent him a message on Discord and he was like, absolutely, I would love for you to make a documentary on. But the real hard part was there was this old footage of him when he ran his escort agency back in 2005. There was a guy who made a whole TV series on it. And all the footage for the TV series got subpoenaed by the FBI, so it never saw the light of day. And the real hard part of this project was getting in touch with that guy and convincing him that like I'm the guy who should finish this movie and he should give me all of his archival footage for free and that he should, come in on this project as a producer and just let me run with it.
Beautiful.
All right. So I got another question here. So one of Mr. Base's biggest claims right now is that he was tricked to come out of his house. That's big word, tricked. And that's one of his key things that he is using in his lawyer language to say that something was maliciously done. So just to be clear, he was tricked to come out of the house, but not to the fight, correct?
I don't think he was even tricked to come out of the house. I think that like a bunch of people were texting him and calling him throughout the day asking him to come out and do stuff. And that guy Twiggy, I don't, he's kind of, he's an interesting fellow. He's from the Lolcow Live audience. He's a great dude.
Oh yeah, I like
But
Twiggy. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's all right.
but uh, he was in with Mr. Based. He's the one who got Mr. Based on Lolcow Live. So like, I was just like messaging with him, and I was like, he said, I'm gonna get I sent him the picture that I was like, look where I am. And he was like, I'm gonna get him to come outside. And I'm like, dubious.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was from Twiggy who got him to come outside or if he just went outside on his own volition. Because again, I was posted up there for like 2 hours. I got there at 11 a.m. and he attacked me at 1:40 p.m.
So even if in theory, like, okay, he claims that he was tricked, but if you showed him where you're at, and then Twiggy at that point was like, I'm gonna do this on my own volition, that wasn't you asking him. He just said, I'm gonna do this.
And moreover, he wasn't tricked into fighting me. He wasn't tricked into attacking me.
No.
He walked out of his house on his own volition. Whether he thought that there was someone from Barstool Sports there, or he thought it was me there. He walked out of his house, and I was over 30 feet away from his steps even. And you can see in that original video, he comes right running up to me and then snatches part of my camera.
Oh yeah.
He didn't even stop to ask questions. It was immediately went.
He just
I
went right
actually
into it.
tried. You can hear in the video. I can pull it up on stream if you guys want.
Yeah,
I say to
go
him,
ahead.
all right, let me.
Because the only thing I was going to say is, from what I saw, from when the video starts, basically he just came up to you, and that's when the altercation happened. There was no words exchanged. He was just like, I guess, 6 inches from your face, for my best guess. But
So here's the. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. This is the shot from my camera. So he had. Can you see this? Okay.
yeah, I can see it.
I
So,
can, yeah.
so he had just. There's the steps to his house. He had just come down the steps. That's when I started rolling. See where I am. I'm very, and this is a wide angle lens, so I'm actually further away from him than
Yeah.
it seems.
Yeah.
He's got his weapon in his hand right there.
Yep.
He sees me from afar, and I'll let it play. Jason, tell the truth. So now I'm still very far from him. I haven't really walked towards him at all. That guy Kozu, who was next to me, who had filmed the other angle of everything,
Mm-hmm.
I get parallel with Kozu. That's about it. And the only reason I walked that far was so that, I had this dude backing me up.
Yeah.
So I said, tell the truth, and then watch. Here's what he does. He walks up and he just the video stops before he snatches the wire out, but you can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell the truth. So now this is where it cuts, and he's right in my personal space. So
Yep.
if you go to the start of the video again, it starts with him here, and he sees me and immediately comes into my personal space because he's looking for a fight. He
Yeah.
was looking to have a big confrontation and have a big fight. I was looking to have a confrontation as well, but I was looking for a verbal confrontation like that's what I started. I said, "Jason, tell the truth."
And your buddy Kozu right there, he's not standing in a confrontational way. He's like standing relaxed, like,
Yeah,
oh, maybe
very
he'll
laid
come out
back.
today. Like,
Very laid back.
this definitely. I don't see how he, at least he anyway, did not expect this.
Yeah. No, and I didn't expect it either. Look how he gets right up in my face here. And then let me go to the other one for you guys real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And while you're pulling this up, so do you have a GoFundMe or anything like that for medical bills or doctor's bills or even lawyer fees or anything like that?
So the New York Victims Fund, because I'm a victim of an assault, is going to take care of my hospital bills, I think.
Hell yeah,
At
dude.
least that's what they said at this point. I spoke to a couple social workers. But as far as like lawyers and stuff go, I haven't really thought about it yet. I'm hoping that like the NYPD is just going to do their job and that I'm not going to have to really worry about like having to lawyer up or defend myself against like the guy who assaulted me. It would be
Yeah.
really
Right.
crazy if the NYPD or the DA were to let a charge against me come up when the city is also paying for my medical bills because I was violently assaulted.
Facts. I agree with that.
So, but if you want to support the doc and what I'm doing here, I have like a members only on my channel where you can watch all the stream VODs, and everyone who like joins the membership gets a producer credit on the movie.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
So again, here's where he there's another angle too. One sec. I think it's Jesus Christ. Sorry, dead air.
No, you're
There
good.
it is. There it is. Okay. So this was everyone was saying that this angle was the smoking gun that showed that Jason that I provoked him. So here's where that starts. Look at how close he is to me. His arms are by his side. I'm holding my camera and
Yep.
he's right up in my face. So we'll go through set that playback to full. And we'll go through frame by frame. His face is right in my face, his arms are by his side, and his chest is up against me.
Yeah, he's bending
leaning
towards
into you.
Yeah, he is at this point.
So now the camera zooms in. And you can see me put my hand to his chest to try to push him off of me because he's, again, like right in my personal space. And look, his hands, he's flexing. Like, look at him right now.
Oh yeah.
You see how he's.
Those
This is
triceps
not
are
a
out,
man.
bro.
This is not a man who's like scared or is acting in self-defense right now. He's the one who's provoked this whole interaction.
Yep.
So
This
there I
person that
am. I've got my
recorded was
hand on.
very bad tracking.
There I am with my hand on his chest. This is a person. This recording was just someone on their iPhone from like across the street. They just happened to
Okay.
catch this.
So you didn't know them.
No, I didn't know them at all. I
Okay.
just saw this
Gotcha.
on TikTok like hours later. So you can
Gotcha.
see my arms right there, my hands against his chest, and I'm trying to put some distance in between him and I. And Kozu's filming at this point. So I'll cut to the other angle in a second when
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
the other angle starts with the overexposure.
Okay.
So look, so he reaches, there's his hand. Do you see him reach and
Yep.
grab my camera?
Pushes it away.
So
No, his hand's on the lens right there, actually.
yeah, I was gonna say, according to him on the video, all he did was unplug a cable.
He did the very first thing he did was take the cable out, which is why my stopped recording, because it's
Got
the
it.
cable that connects the solid state drive to the camera itself. So he pulled that out, but then he tried to just take the camera and destroy it, because it's like a $3,000 camera. So there he is. Look, he's got his hand on the lens,
Yep.
and then I reach over and I grab his wrist. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, my hand's on his chest here, and I'm still trying to push him away.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're trying to keep him back. You're trying to stop him from.
And then look what he does here. So I try to push him away, and then he reaches around with his other arm and he grabs the back of my shirt right there. See?
Yep.
So now I'm gonna cut to the other angle for you guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, because at this point you're trying to keep him from destroying your personal property.
Yeah. So there it is. Okay. So his hands, I'm pushing him away. And there his hand is on the back of my shirt, right where we left off in the other one.
Yep.
And if you look at our feet, look at what he's trying to do here. He's trying to get me onto the ground.
He's trying to trip you, yeah.
Yep, trying to sweep.
And not only does he try to trip me once, watch this. There's one trip, there's two trips.
3 trips. Yeah.
Okay, and he realizes he can't trip me, and he looks down at the ground here, which is a very popular move in ground fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Short guys like that love to get you on the ground to fight.
Oh yeah. Center of gravity is higher for
look,
you, so yeah.
He's got a big smile on his face. He's looking at the ground, and he knows exactly what he's about to do because he's about to hit me in the face with this tripod. So this is a guy that, and by the way, look at him. His hand is on the back of my shirt. He's holding on to me for dear life. And he's still trying to trip me.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. So then this is the hit. Yeah, there we go. So I want to show his face right here as he goes in to hit me. Look at his face.
Oh yeah. That's pure anger. Pure anger.
So I'll let this go.
For as much as he accused you of being putting him in a headlock, it looks like he had you in one.
Yeah. Well, he also accused that guy Zoltan of being the one who killed Julia, and he was the one who did it. So he loves to say someone else did something that he did.
Of course. So there's that sound. That gets me every time, bro. Gets me every time.
And yeah, I didn't feel it at all. He hit me so hard that I fully didn't feel it at all. I was just like, fuck. I was just like,
oh yeah.
Shit, he hit me, and
Fight or flight.
And he started running, and I was just like, oh, I gotta chase him. But blood started pouring like in front of my eyes and mouth, and so I just grabbed my head and started running after him with about 30 pounds of. I've got all these heavy batteries, and the camera itself is very heavy. Got about 30 pounds of camera equipment, and he just fucking books it right into oncoming traffic too.
Oh yeah, I remember. And a lot of people were saying, why didn't you pull your phone out? And I'm saying he's carrying a lot of camera equipment. It's in the moment. Your adrenaline's pumping. You just got hit. Your body's probably in shock. And
I still thought I was going to catch him. I still thought I was going to catch up to him and that somebody was going to like block off the street to stop him. What I thought was going to happen was he started running towards 9th Street. It was
Okay.
on 2nd Avenue. He's running up 2nd Avenue towards 9th Street, and he gets there, and there's a group of people, and he ran right past them. But what I was hoping would happen is they would have heard screaming ahead of time, and there would have been someone to kind of, deck him when he ran around the corner.
Yeah.
That was what I was
Like they
hoping
see in
would
the
have
movies,
happened.
like person calls for help and then the crowd jumps in and actually does something. But in this case, person's calling for help and they just look at you and go, "Oh shit!"
Well,
I
the
guess.
Well, they were just
Something's
looking at how
happening.
much blood. The thing is there was so much blood. It was coming all over my shirt. It was like
I
I
remember
didn't.
seeing the picture. Yeah, it was a lot, dude.
Yeah, it was rough.
So people were just staring at me, and because there was a guy with a camera behind me too, and I had a camera, I think people thought it was like an Eric Andre skit or something. Like people, because some dude came up
That
to me
sucks,
right
man.
afterwards. Some dude came up to me right afterwards, and he's like, "This is a bit, right? This isn't real." And I like showed him my head wound, and he was like, "I mean, it looks real, but I don't believe you guys." So like already right away, like people
What a
just
prick.
I mean, you're in New York. You have people like World of T-shirts. Nothing against him doing what he's doing, but he goes around. And he's singing that Alicia Keys song, and he's drinking. Like the things that he puts on his TikTok. You're in New York where people are doing that. Uh, I would. The fact that somebody walked up to you and said, This is not. This is a bit, right?" That doesn't surprise. That doesn't. It's sad, but it doesn't surprise me that people just don't know what's real and what's real, true
Well, the
or
other thing
fake.
is in New York, I mean, there's a lot of, like social abuses, I'll just use that term, and people are acting any kind of way crazily and all that. So people are just like, oh, it's just some other people. I'm just going to ignore this. I know it's about that time you get on yours. I just have one last question for you. And again, we really appreciate this.
yeah, of
Um,
course.
the voicemail that was left. What is your opinion on that when I guess Mr. Bass
So
left you that threatening voicemail?
I don't know if it's Mr. Based. So I tweeted about it this morning. I last night I went to bed at about 10 p.m.
Okay.
I woke up at 5 a.m. My head was still hurting pretty bad because I still had the like
Yep. The
bandage
rap.
wrapped
Yep.
really tight around my head, and I noticed I had a call from Jason.
Got it.
I know you can't see that really well. I had a call from him at 1:15. He had my number blocked, so like I was really curious as to what it was, and I took a screenshot and I sent him my Discord server. And you notice I have a bunch of blocked callers right after that.
Yep.
So I just sent a screenshot of that in my Discord. I was like, "Isn't that interesting? I wish I'd picked up. I would have loved to know what he said." So then I went to my voicemail, and I had a voicemail that's from an unknown number, and so I just played it, and it was this. Oh, you can't really hear it when I play it through there. But yeah, I heard that voicemail. I was like, that's really fucking weird. And I posted it and I sent it to Keem and I sent it to the police.
I'm gonna
But like,
I'm gonna play it real quick,
yeah, of
just for
course.
people to hear it, and then we can go from there.
You fucking ruined everything for me, you motherfucker. Next time I see you, I'm gonna break your whole fucking head open. Talking to the fucking cops, you think I'm fucking scared, Alex? I fucked people up way worse than what I did to you and got off with no charges. So keep looking over your shoulder, you little bitch.
There it is. So
Okay, so sorry, you go ahead.
no, I was saying, so kind of like as far as that goes, have you reported this to anybody or like for the police, share it with them or anything? If you
Yeah,
can
no, the
talk
very
about that.
first thing I did was email it to the detective on the thing, and I explained to her the same thing I explained to you guys, which is that like I got a call from Jason, then I got a call from a bunch of unknown numbers, and the unknown number left me that voicemail, not Jason. But like a lot of people in my community have asked me if I think that's Jason. I don't think it's Jason. I don't
Okay.
think it sounds like him. I think it's AI. I tweeted that like in the Twitter thread about it. Just to clarify that like I think it's Starbuck Nazi. I don't know if you guys know who that guy is.
I've heard the name, but I'm not too familiar.
He's a guy who gets people's phone numbers and calls them and says threatening stuff. But that's who I think might be behind it. But ultimately, I've had a lot of like threats from Jason's camp, as it were.
Okay.
Anthony Reynolds, one of his security guys who hangs out with him,
Mhm.
who's a firefighter on Long Island. called me when I was at the police station, and he said, "You better not report this to the cops, or there's going to be big trouble for you." And the
Wow.
cops recorded that phone call. So like, for me, what this is like, it doesn't matter that like it was like someone pranking me with like an AI voice of Jason. It's that there's this like campaign of harassment against the internet of people who are supporters of Jason and Jason himself, who called me that same night, who are trying to get me to back down and trying to get me to not make this movie.
I got you. Well, I do wish you the best of luck with all this. Definitely look forward to the movie. Is there any time frame when it's going to drop at this point, or is it just kind of whenever?
End of September, early November.
Hell yeah. Well,
End of September. All right.
hell yeah. We'll definitely watch it on the show, man, and do a reaction to it.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course, man. Like, we
We
appreciate
greatly appreciate you coming on, man.
100%. All right, bud. Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Man, that's wild.
Fucking that scar is fucking gnarly.
Oh yeah. What I think you said, what, 16 stitches, I believe?
I think so. 16, somewhere between 13 and 16, I think.
Yeah. And as Complexity said in chat, there's still a lot to unpack, because that is obviously one side of the story.
This is all still happening in real time. I mean, this has just happened like a couple days ago. So I mean, like, there's still a lot of developments. They still haven't even found the guy. Like, we don't fully know. Like, we don't fully have Mr. Base. Not to say Alex is lying or anything like that. We don't have his version of events. Like, he's gone online. He says his version, but like, we don't know what he's telling the cops.
Exactly.
We don't know exactly. We don't know exactly what his defense is and all this, and that's why we're asking questions like, hey, like, in this case of like, if it's coercion or tricked, like, was that you? Was that Twiggy? Not saying that Twiggy did anything wrong, but like, we're trying to make sure, we're trying to get to the bottom of like where it is that
Yeah.
legalize,
Yeah, the last thing I'll say before we end it is Mr. Bass actually left a comment on the video, and we're doing what we can to see if he's willing to come on the show and share his side of the story. Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. We all see what's going on. We hear, phone conversations, voicemails. It's all alleged until, if it comes to this, he's in a courtroom getting tried by 12 juries and a judge, and with the prosecution, right? So that's kind of where we're at this point. Anyways,
and listen, we understand that you want to, and Mr. Bass, if you're listening to this, which I'd like to imagine at some point he would, if you want to keep your location as secret as possible, we're willing to work with you and try to get your side of the story, because like Ken said, every story, every coin has two sides. We gotta get both sides. We'd love to hear your version of events. We'd love to see what evidence you have to go against this, if there is any. Yeah, like, you just let us know what we need to do to meet to your requirements.
And I even say, dude, if you don't want to show your cam on live stream, if you just want to hop in a call with us so we can verify it's you before we say this is you, because we don't want someone else acting like you. We don't want that to happen. So yeah, like I said, reach out. We'll figure this out. There's many ways to make this happen. So we definitely appreciate everybody coming in and listening to us. It was a wild ride hearing his story out. So hopefully there's more to come. You guys take care.
Thanks for watching, y'all.
Later.